Maid's daughter missed a job interview to fix a flat. Fate paid her back fast. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. This is a tale of unexpected twists, hard work, and fate's surprising reward. Meet Emily, a young woman working tirelessly as a maid to support her family. Emily's life had always been one of struggle, a series of setbacks that seemed to push her down every time she tried to rise. But one day, things took an unexpected turn. Emily had been working long hours, trying to make ends meet for her little sister and aging mother. Her dream was to get a job that would provide her with financial stability, so she could stop worrying about where the next meal was coming from. One morning, Emily received a call from a company she had applied to months ago. It was the opportunity she had been waiting for, a job interview that could change her life forever. She was ecstatic. It was the moment she had worked so hard for, the moment that could finally free her from the endless cycle of cleaning, scrubbing, and worrying about bills. But fate had other plans. As Emily was getting ready to leave for the interview, she noticed her car tire was flat. It was a situation she knew all too well. One of those inconvenient, frustrating moments when the world seems to conspire against you. She checked the time. The interview was in just over an hour, and her car was the only way to get there. She had no choice but to fix the tire herself. She grabbed the spare tire from the trunk and got to work. As she struggled to unscrew the bolts, sweat beading on her forehead, she realized she was going to be late. Her heart sank. The dream job she had worked for could slip through her fingers. But she couldn't stop now. With determination, Emily finally got the tire fixed and started her car. She rushed through the streets, her heart pounding in her chest as she imagined the disappointed look on the face of the hiring manager. She arrived at the company just as the interview was ending. She had missed it. The door was locked, and the building seemed so cold and distant. Emily stood there for a moment, staring at the door, her dreams crashing down around her. She wanted to cry, but instead, she took a deep breath. She had done her best, and sometimes that was all you could do. Little did she know, the story was far from over. Emily stood outside the company building, her heart heavy with disappointment. She had done everything she could to get there on time, but now it seemed all was lost. As she turned to leave, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She checked the screen, half expecting it to be another reminder of the interview she had missed. But this time, it was a message from the same company she had just tried to apply to. Hello, Emily. We regret to inform you that the interview today has been rescheduled to tomorrow at noon. Please confirm your attendance. She blinked in disbelief. Was this some sort of mistake? She had missed the original interview by mere minutes, yet they were offering her another chance. Emily's hope flared up again. She quickly responded, confirming that she would be there, this time without fail. The next day, Emily woke up early. She had everything ready. Her clothes were ironed, her resume was neatly packed, and her mind was set on making the most of this second opportunity. But as she glanced out of the window, the weather seemed to mock her. The rain poured down in sheets, and the forecast promised more of the same throughout the day. Her car, of course, was still the only way to get there. Emily had no choice but to face the storm. With her heart pounding, she quickly grabbed her umbrella and rushed out of her apartment. As she got to her car, the engine sputtered to life, and she set off, praying that the weather wouldn't delay her again. The streets were slick, and traffic was slow as drivers tried to navigate the downpour. Emily's nerves were on edge, but she refused to give up. She had come too far to let this opportunity slip away. When she finally arrived at the company's building, she dashed inside, the rain still drenching her clothes. She checked the time. She was barely on time. The receptionist greeted her with a welcoming smile, but there was a hint of surprise in her eyes when she saw how soaked Emily was. "You must be Emily," the receptionist said. "The hiring manager is waiting for you." Emily nodded and quickly made her way down the hallway, her shoes squeaking on the wet floor. When she finally entered the interview room, she was greeted by Mr. Harris, the hiring manager. He was a tall man with a professional demeanor, but his eyes softened when he saw her. "I was beginning to think you wouldn't make it," he said with a slight smile. But I can see you're a woman of determination. Come, let's get started. Emily took a deep breath, her nerves settling as she realized she still had a chance. The interview went smoothly. She talked about her background, her work ethic, and the passion she had for the position. Mr. Harris seemed impressed by her answers, and as they wrapped up, he gave her a nod of approval. We'll be in touch soon, Emily, he said. Emily left the interview feeling both exhausted and hopeful. Despite the rain, the missed interview, and all the setbacks, she had given her best. Now, all she could do was wait and hope that her determination would pay off. Little did she know, fate had more in store for her than she could have ever imagined. Emily walked out of the building, the weight of the interview still hanging over her. She had done everything she could, and now all she could do was wait. As the hours passed, Emily's mind raced with possibilities. Could she really land the job? Would they call her back? Her phone buzzed, and she immediately checked it, half expecting another generic rejection. But this time, it was different. The message on the screen was from the company she had just interviewed with. Hello, Emily. We are pleased to inform you that we would like to offer you the position. Congratulations. Emily's heart skipped a beat. She couldn't believe it. After all the setbacks, all the missed opportunities, she had finally made it. The job she had dreamed of was now hers. She felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment and relief. She quickly responded, accepting the offer, her fingers trembling with excitement. That night, Emily went home to share the news with her mother. Her mother, a kind and hard-working woman, had always supported her, even when things seemed impossible. When Emily told her, her mother's eyes filled with tears. I always knew you could do it, she said, pulling Emily into a warm hug. You've worked so hard for this. It was a moment Emily would never forget. As the days went by, Emily started her new job. The work was challenging, but she embraced every opportunity to learn and grow. Her colleagues quickly recognized her determination and work ethic. She proved herself to be an invaluable member of the team. One afternoon, as Emily was working in her office, the door opened, and there stood Mr. Harris, the hiring manager. He smiled at her and said, I'm glad we made the right choice. You're doing great, Emily. That small gesture meant the world to her. It was a confirmation that all the hard work, the missed interview, the flat tire, and the determination had paid off. But as time went on, Emily began to realize that success wasn't just about landing the job. It was about the journey, the lessons she learned along the way, and the people who helped her get there. One evening, after a long day at work, Emily decided to take a walk to clear her mind. As she strolled through the park, she saw a familiar face. It was the man who had helped her with the flat tire on the day she had missed her first interview. He smiled and waved as she approached. You look like you're doing well, he said. Emily smiled back. I am. Thanks to you, actually. They chatted for a few minutes, catching up on life. As they parted ways, Emily couldn't help but feel grateful for the unexpected moments that had shaped her journey. She had learned that sometimes things don't go as planned, but that doesn't mean they won't work out in the end. Life has a way of rewarding those who persevere, and Emily was proof of that. Emily settled into her new job, feeling a sense of pride every time she walked through the office doors. The challenges that had seemed insurmountable before now felt like distant memories. She was proving herself. Every day, not just to her coworkers, but to herself as well. Her confidence grew as she tackled each new task with determination, and soon, she was recognized as one of the most reliable and hard-working employees in the office. One afternoon, as Emily sat at her desk, the phone rang. She picked it up and heard a familiar voice on the other end. It was Mr. Harris, the hiring manager who had initially interviewed her. Emily, I wanted to reach out personally to let you know that we are really impressed with your performance. You've really stepped up, and it's making a difference here. We've been thinking about offering you a promotion. Emily felt her heart race. A promotion? Already? She had only been with the company for a few months, and this offer was more than she could have imagined. Thank you, Mr. Harris. I really appreciate the opportunity, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. I'm grateful for everything I've learned here, and I'm excited about what's ahead. Mr. Harris laughed. You've earned it. We've got big plans for you, Emily. Just keep doing what you're doing, and the sky's the limit. That night, Emily sat on the couch at home, reflecting on how far she had come. A few months ago, she had been uncertain about her future, unsure if she would ever catch a break. But now, here she was, on the cusp of something even bigger. She looked over at her mother, who was sitting beside her. "Mom, guess what? I'm getting a promotion at work." Her mother's eyes filled with tears of joy. "I knew you could do it, sweetheart. I've always believed in you." It was a moment of pure joy and validation for Emily, knowing that all her sacrifices and hard work had paid off. The next day, she went to the office, ready to embrace the new challenge. She felt a sense of purpose that she had never known before. As she walked into the office, she passed by the conference room where Mr. Harris and a few senior managers were gathered. He waved at her, and she smiled back, feeling like part of the team. But as Emily continued down the hallway, she couldn't help but think back to the day when she had missed that first interview. She had been so close to giving up, so close to accepting that things were never going to change. But now, she realized how far she had come, and how much further she could go. That evening, as she walked home from work, Emily passed by the same street where her car had broken down all those months ago. The memories flooded back, but this time, they didn't sting. Instead, they reminded her of the strength she had found within herself, the strength to keep going even when things didn't go according to plan. As she looked up at the sky, Emily smiled. She had come through it all, and now, she was on her way to something even greater. She was living proof that no matter how tough the road may seem, perseverance and hard work always lead to success. Emily was adjusting to her new role, and the days seemed to be flying by. Every morning, she woke up feeling more confident, ready to face whatever challenges the day would bring. Her promotion had marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life. She now had more responsibilities, but with them came a sense of fulfillment she had never experienced before. Her colleagues were supportive, and the respect she had earned was evident in the way they treated her. She felt like she was finally where she belonged. However, with the new role came even more pressure. The workload was heavier, and there were more expectations placed on her. But Emily had never backed down from a challenge. She stayed late at the office, working on projects, reviewing documents, and making sure everything was in order. As time passed, Emily found herself becoming more and more invested in her work. The satisfaction of accomplishing a difficult task was like nothing else. She felt a deep sense of pride every time she completed a project successfully. One day, as Emily was walking to her car after a long day at the office, she received an unexpected call. It was Mr. Harris, her hiring manager. "Emily, I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to let you know that we have a new project coming up, and we'd love for you to take the lead. You've shown great potential, and I believe you're ready for this." Emily felt a wave of excitement and anxiety. This was another huge step, and she wasn't sure if she was ready. But then she remembered everything she had gone through to get here. The flat tire, the missed interview, the countless hours of hard work, and she knew she could handle it. "I'm honored, Mr. Harris. I'll give it my all," Emily said with determination in her voice. "Great to hear. We'll send you the details, and I'll be here to support you every step of the way," Mr. Harris replied. The next few weeks were a whirlwind for Emily. She dove into the new project with everything she had. Long hours, tight deadlines, and high expectations were now part of her daily routine. Yet, as exhausting as it was, Emily couldn't help but feel alive. This was the career she had always dreamed of. She was doing something meaningful, and the work she was doing mattered. Her team rallied behind her, and she started seeing the fruits of her labor. The project was progressing smoothly, and Emily began to realize just how far she had come. One evening, while reviewing the final presentation for the project, Emily reflected on her journey. She thought back to the days when she had been struggling, unsure if she would ever find a way out. She remembered the moment when she had missed that first interview and thought everything was falling apart. But now, she was leading a major project. She had gone from the girl who fixed her flat tire alone to a woman who was making an impact in a company. She couldn't help but smile. Emily had proven to herself that perseverance paid off. She had turned every setback into an opportunity for growth. The road wasn't always easy, but every step had led her to where she was now. As she closed her laptop for the night, she realized that the future was hers to shape. She had worked hard to get here, and she was ready for whatever came next. There was no telling how far she could go, but one thing was certain. Emily wasn't stopping anytime soon. As weeks went by, Emily settled into her role more comfortably. She had become a key figure in the company, a trusted team member whose dedication and hard work were recognized by everyone. The project she had taken the lead on was a massive success, and her efforts paid off in ways she had never imagined. But as the project wrapped up, Emily realized something. Her goals had shifted. The work she was doing was no longer just about getting by or proving herself. It had become about making a real difference. One morning, as she walked into the office, she saw a familiar face. Her old mentor, Mr. Harris, was standing in the hallway, smiling as usual. "Emily, can I have a word with you?" he asked, motioning for her to follow him into his office. Emily felt a slight flutter of nerves in her stomach, wondering what this conversation was going to be about. "Of course, Mr. Harris," she said, her voice steady but curious. Once inside, he closed the door behind her and took a seat. "I've been watching your progress over the past few months," he began. "And I must say, I'm impressed. But there's something I think you should consider. We have a new opportunity coming up, one that requires a leader with vision and dedication, someone who's not afraid to step outside their comfort zone." Emily's heart skipped a beat. This sounded like more than just another project. Mr. Harris continued, "I think you're ready for this. I want to offer you a senior leadership position. You'd be managing a team of your own, helping to shape the future of this company." Emily's mind raced. This was the opportunity she had been working toward for so long. She had come so far from the young woman who had been struggling to make ends meet, and now here she was, being offered a leadership role. "I don't know what to say," Emily said, trying to process the magnitude of the offer. "You've earned it, Emily. I've seen how you lead with compassion, how you inspire others to give their best. You've already proven that you're capable of so much more." Emily took a deep breath. She had worked so hard to get to this point, and now it seemed like her efforts were finally being recognized in the biggest way possible. "I'm honored, Mr. Harris," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "I'll give it everything I've got." Over the next few weeks, Emily transitioned into her new role. The responsibility was immense, but she embraced it wholeheartedly. She spent long hours planning, strategizing, and working with her new team, guiding them through challenges and celebrating their successes. She quickly realized that leadership wasn't just about making decisions. It was about building relationships, fostering a sense of trust and respect, and helping others achieve their full potential. As Emily continued to grow into her role, she found herself reflecting on her journey. She thought back to the days when she was just starting out, struggling with a flat tire and a missed interview, unsure if she would ever find success. But now, as she stood at the helm of a team, she realized how far she had come. The road had been long, and it had not always been easy, but every obstacle had shaped her into the leader she was today. And as she looked forward to the future, Emily knew that this was just the beginning. With every challenge, there would be an opportunity to grow. And no matter where the road took her, she would continue to persevere, always striving to be better, to do better, and to make a difference. Emily had been settling into her leadership role for several months now, and every day brought new challenges and opportunities. The initial excitement of her promotion had begun to feel like part of her daily routine. However, with each passing day, Emily's drive to push herself and her team forward only grew stronger. She had become more than just a team member. She was now a mentor, someone who guided others toward success. But as Emily navigated this new territory, she realized that leadership wasn't always about achieving goals. It was about the people you worked with. One afternoon, Emily sat in her office, looking over the progress of a new project. Her team had been working hard, but there were signs of burnout. Emily noticed that her best employee, Sarah, was becoming distant. Sarah had always been the first to arrive and the last to leave, but recently, her enthusiasm seemed to be waning. Emily decided to have a one-on-one with her to see what was going on. "Sarah, can I speak with you for a moment?" Emily asked, gesturing to the chair across from her. Sarah hesitated, but sat down. "Of course, Emily. What's up?" Emily leaned forward, her expression concerned. "I've noticed you've been quieter lately. You're one of the hardest workers I know, and I just wanted to check in. Is everything okay?" Sarah looked down, avoiding eye contact. She hesitated before speaking. "I've just been feeling overwhelmed. This project has been so much more work than I anticipated, and I've been trying to keep up, but it's getting to me." Emily nodded, understanding more than Sarah realized. She had been there herself, pushing through challenges and forgetting to take care of herself along the way. "I get it. Emily said gently. I've been there too. But remember, it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to take a step back when you need to. We're a team, and we support each other. Sarah looked up at Emily, her eyes filled with gratitude. Thank you, Emily. I guess I've been afraid to let anyone down. Emily smiled warmly. You're not letting anyone down. You're doing an amazing job, but you don't have to do it alone. We're all in this together. From that moment, Emily made it her mission to ensure that no one on her team felt the way Sarah did. She started scheduling regular check-ins with her team members, making sure they knew they had her support. She realized that leadership wasn't just about managing projects. It was about caring for the well-being of the people who made those projects happen. As the weeks went by, Emily saw a transformation in her team. Morale improved and productivity soared. But the biggest change was in Emily herself. She had started out on this journey determined to prove herself. But now, she was focused on something far more important: the success and happiness of the people around her. One evening, as Emily was leaving the office, Mr. Harris called her again. Emily, I just wanted to check in and see how things were going. I've heard nothing but great things from your team. You've really stepped up in a way I never expected, and it's been incredible to watch. Emily smiled, grateful for the acknowledgement. Thank you, Mr. Harris. It's been a journey, but I've learned so much along the way. Mr. Harris chuckled. You've earned every bit of it, Emily. Keep doing what you're doing. You're making a real difference. As she hung up the phone, Emily felt a surge of pride. She had come a long way from the girl who missed that first interview, unsure of her future. Now, she was a leader, someone who inspired others to do their best, and she was only getting started. The journey wasn't easy, but it was hers, and she was embracing every moment of it. As the months passed, Emily's role continued to evolve. The team had been thriving under her leadership, and the company had seen a noticeable shift in both productivity and morale. Her efforts to foster a supportive work environment had paid off, and Emily found herself increasingly respected by her colleagues and senior management alike. But success had also come with its own set of challenges. The responsibilities piled up, and Emily began to feel the pressure mounting once again. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Emily sat alone in her office, staring at the pile of paperwork on her desk. The weight of it all seemed to bear down on her. She had always been the person who took on every task, believing that the more she did, the more she could prove herself. But now, she wondered if there was a point where it would all become too much. As Emily sat there in silence, a knock on the door startled her. It was Sarah, the same colleague who had once struggled with burnout. Sarah had been working with Emily closely for months, and their bond had grown stronger over time. Is everything okay, Emily? Sarah asked gently, sensing something was off. Emily gave a weary smile and nodded. Just a lot on my plate right now, Sarah. But I'll be fine. Sarah sat down across from her, looking concerned. You've been working nonstop, and it's showing. You don't have to carry all this alone, you know. Emily sighed, feeling a mix of gratitude and guilt. I know, but sometimes I feel like if I don't do everything, it'll all fall apart. Sarah shook her head. You're leading a team, Emily. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You've built a team of strong people who believe in you, and they're there to help. Emily paused, reflecting on Sarah's words. It was true. She had a team, and they had been there for her every step of the way. She didn't have to bear the weight of everything on her own. Thank you, Sarah, Emily said, her voice softening. I think I needed to hear that. With Sarah's support, Emily began to recognize that leadership didn't mean doing everything herself. It meant empowering others and trusting them to contribute. She started delegating more responsibilities and trusting her team to take the lead on projects. The results were immediate. Her team members stepped up, bringing new ideas and solutions that Emily had not thought of. As the pressure lifted, Emily found herself able to focus on the bigger picture: strategic planning, team development, and improving processes that could benefit everyone. It was a new approach, one that focused not just on her own success, but on the success of the entire team. Over the next few weeks, Emily's workload became more manageable. She found herself more energized and focused, and the projects she was overseeing began to run more smoothly. She learned to trust her team, and in turn, they trusted her even more. Her leadership had become a true partnership, where everyone had a voice and a role to play. One day, as Emily walked through the office, she noticed a new energy in the air. Her team was more collaborative, more engaged, and more motivated. It was clear that the changes she had made were having a positive impact. Emily smiled, feeling a sense of pride. She had gone from a woman struggling to fix a flat tire to a leader who knew how to manage not just tasks, but people. And in the end, she realized that leadership wasn't about being in control. It was about creating an environment where everyone could succeed together. As time went on, Emily continued to thrive in her leadership role, and her life took on a new rhythm. She had not only grown as a professional, but also as a person. The journey that began with a flat tire and a missed job interview had led her to places she never thought possible. She had climbed higher than she ever imagined. But the true reward was not the title or the recognition. It was the lessons learned along the way. One afternoon, as Emily sat in her office, she received an unexpected email from the CEO of the company. She opened it, and a smile spread across her face as she read the message. Emily, I wanted to personally thank you for your exceptional leadership and contributions to the company. Your ability to inspire your team and deliver results has made a significant impact. I'd like to offer you a new role, one that comes with greater responsibility and the chance to shape the future of this company. Let me know if you're interested. Emily felt a surge of emotion. The CEO, a person she had once looked up to from afar, was now acknowledging her work and offering her an opportunity that could change the course of her career. She took a deep breath, knowing that this was the culmination of everything she had worked for. She quickly replied, expressing her gratitude and excitement for the new challenge. But as she typed, Emily realized something important. She had spent so much time striving for success, proving herself, and achieving her goals. But the true success was not about titles or promotions. It was about the journey and the impact she could have on others. A few days later, Emily stood before her team, ready to share the news. I've been offered a new role in the company, one that will give me the chance to shape its future even more, she said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. But none of this would be possible without all of you. We've built something incredible together, and I couldn't be more proud of what we've accomplished. This new opportunity isn't just mine. It's a reflection of everything we've done as a team. The room filled with applause as Emily's team recognized the importance of her leadership. They had all been a part of the journey, and they shared in the success. As Emily left the office that evening, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Her journey wasn't just about overcoming obstacles. It was about using her experiences to help others rise, too. She had come a long way from the girl who had missed an interview and felt defeated by a flat tire. Now, she was leading others to success, creating an environment where everyone could thrive. Emily looked up at the sky, taking in the beauty of the evening. She realized that the road ahead was still long, but she was ready for whatever came next. She had learned that the greatest rewards in life didn't come from the destination. They came from the people you helped along the way and the person you became in the process. Emily was ready for her next chapter, knowing that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The future was bright, and she was determined to keep growing, keep learning, and keep leading with purpose.